to turn the other cheek, while an accuser aggressively chides and pricks your pride with sharp accusations of weakness, faintness and cowardice. Mull over truth, lies and reputations. Reflect on the nature of prejudice, different opinions, right and wrong, paths leading to virtue or villainy, how those perceived weak by those perceived strong are crushed and tormented by tyranny. And once all's considered, then you must choose. Tyrants are aided by those who refuse. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, bring out your dead. Old ladies lying in piss, mothers and infants underfed, the infirm, starving and penniless, cancer sufferers deemed to be fit for work indefinitely, the terminally unemployed, the lost souls cast into the void, abused women helpless, trapped to it, terrified and suicidal, living with the homicidal on universal credit capped. Bring out your dead, the latest wave, fodder fit for a pauper's grave. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, get to work, snuff out the zombies on the streets, purge every corner where they lurk, the manic depressive deadbeats who haven't slept or eaten in days, the homeless lying in shop doorways, families living in one room, toddlers full of doom and gloom, pensioners with no capital, destitute at 75, their life savings took a nosedive and then there's no more collateral. Bring out your dead before they rot, tomorrow there's another lot. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, kick down the door, drag the cadavers down the stairs, the jobless, invisible poor, the fathers caught out unawares by sudden mass redundancy, forced by the DWP into contracts of 0 hours, the destitute in burning towers, veterans with PTSD, the mentally ill turned away, desperate with no place to stay, there's no care or community. Bring out your dead, the corpses dire, dead wood for a funeral pyre. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, the end is near. Get the carcasses out in the air, the immigrants who live in fear, the refugees living in prayer, the reformists, the pacifists, the environmental activists, the advocates of equal pay, unions demanding more safer workers on minimum wage, having to rely on food banks, and the socialists dismissed as cranks by tabloids, screaming in outrage. Bring out your dead, the plan's fulfilled, once all the opposition's killed. Sitting on chairs of red, white and blue, enjoying a soundtrack of Radio 2, the crowd at the circus is having a blast. The age of nostalgia's upon them at last. Roll up everyone, let the show begin, says a dandy man with a very large grin. Come on, hurry up, there's no time to lose. By the way, do you like my Union Jack shoes? Are there any Muslims with us today? Don't worry, it's fine, you're welcome to stay as long as you know. If not, please be aware that this is a British and Christian affair. To the easily offended I say, that's tough. We're in control now and we've had enough, we've been tolerant, and you've had your say. If you don't like what follows, well, go away. And indeed a few people do go away, shaking their heads in quiet dismay, giving calls to the dandy man to shout, please shut the door on your way out. The laughter and cheers of all who stayed goes quiet as the national anthem's played. Then the dandy man fires a starting gun. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have some fun. From behind the curtain a boy comes out. He dances and skips and jumps about in a smart red jacket and dicky bow tie. And the dandy man says with a joyous cry, look, Golly is here for the girls and boys. After all, he was one of our favourite toys. That mop of curly hair and black smiley face has nothing to do with colour or race. As the crowd in approval shouts, hooray! The dandy man says, let the kids run and play. This is the way things were meant to be. A return to common sense. No more PC. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you will, please show appreciation for Benny Hill. This marvellous tribute has been prepared for your entertainment. No expense spared. As the musical volume is turned up to max, the crowd laughs with joy at the yakety sax. And hails the resurrection of a favourite clown, played by none other than Roy Chubby Brown. Then, as if by magic, there appears in the crowd 20-page free girls, breasts standing proud. With an amorous grin on his podgy face, Roy jumps off the stage and starts to give chase. To roars of laughter round tables he whirls around and around, chasing after the girls. He's frantically running as fast as he can, but still he can't catch them, the dirty old man. But what's happening now? His face has gone red. He's fallen down and he's bashed his head. The music stops and the laughter dies down, replaced with concern for Roy Chubby Brown. The dandy man, in a voice tinged with fear, says, "Are there any doctors and nurses here?" But the doctors and nurses left long ago, shaking their heads at the start of the show. The voice of a cockney through and through says, "I'll sort it, don't worry, I know what to do." Then down from the stage, Jim Davison no less, appears on the scene to sort out this mess. "I've done a first aid course, it'll be all right. Nobody's going to be dying here tonight." And then, without further ado, he bends down and blows into the mouth of Roy Chubby Brown. He comes up for air. He pumps Roy's chest. He tries desperately hard. He does his best, but eventually conceding, he hangs his head. "I'm sorry, everyone. I think he's dead." The dandy man's looking genuinely phased. The crowd stares in horrified silence, amazed. Then Nigel, for that is the dandy man's name, shakes his head saying, "Oh, what a frightful shame. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go, please stay. Don't let this spoil your Independence Day. There are still plenty of reasons to cheer. After all, people, look, Jim Davison's here. We've so many things for you to enjoy. The black and white minstrels are in our employ. Love thy neighbour till death us do part. Please don't despair, this is only the start." And so it goes on. The show without end, where the dandy man, Nigel, is everyone's friend. And whilst not everyone likes him, it's true, it's hope they'll come round to his point of view. "What about poor Roy?" some people ask. "Somebody needs to be brought to task." And as the stewards carry his body away, some more annoyed people are heard to say, "Those women Roy was chasing around, they should have known that his heart wasn't sound. They were running too fast." Comes another claim, an angry man looking for someone to blame. Then sure enough, someone mentions the word. "Those girls were illegal immigrants, I heard." So the word is planted like a seed in the ground, and like Chinese whispers, the word gets around. 1 year later, a crowd has gathered in Hyde Park today to hear what the dandy man has to say. Screens showing his face to those at the back are placed either side of a giant Union Jack. The dandy man looks regal and proud as he says to the multitudinous crowd, "Ladies and gentlemen, the honour is mine to unveil this great statue to a man so fine. A place in our hearts we shall always hold dear for this man, an inspiration to all who are here. Let every British city and village and town remember the greatness of Roy Chubby Brown." The flag's pulled back, the statue's revealed, the crowd gasped as one. The legend is sealed, the inscriptions read in a voice loud and clear, broadcasted around Britain for all to hear. "In honour of one of Great Britain's sons, in our hearts and our minds, now forever he runs, protecting our freedom, upholding our laws, chasing illegals away from our shores." And some, in despondence and silent despair, would beg to differ, but alas, do not dare. So in imitation, they pretend to be proud and laugh, clap and cheer with the rest of the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, well, what can I say? It's an honour and a privilege to be here today. I'm so glad you're all here. I thank you so much. Enjoy the show, people. I'll soon be in touch." The dandy man then, with a bow, turns away to the cry of "Happy Independence Day." The circus carried on, reliving the past, and the crowd's very happy. They're having a blast. And some silently wonder with concealed fear, what will things be like this time next year, as each, wearing a grin, disguising a frown, bows down to the statue of Roy Chubby Brown. I went out for a drink on Friday night. I ended up nearly getting into a fight. It wasn't my fault, I was being polite and I didn't really have much choice. I was innocently standing at the bar, talking to a stranger, blah-de-blah, when he crossed the line went a bit too far, shouting in a very loud voice, "An asylum seeker or a refugee coming over here and get his stuff for free should not be allowed in my country, and I'm not a racist, but what are they coming over here for? Do you want a Muslim living next door? This country's full, we can't take more. Our borders should be shut. I'm not a racist, but I have to say, why should all that tax I pay go to foreign places far away? No, I'm not a racist, but there are too many foreigners over here. Our women and children live in fear." Enoch Powell had the right idea. His vision was clear cut. I'm not a racist, but I don't see why I should feel any sympathy if someone coming here illegally winds up getting drowned. Our economy's in bits. All immigrants claiming benefits at the cost of us hard-working Brits should be shit homeward bound. I'm not a racist, got a black mate. It's only Muslims that I hate. They're the ones that refuse to integrate. They need to understand that this is England, not Iran or Syria or Pakistan. We read the Bible, not the Quran, and the burqa should be banned. I'm not a racist, I'm a UKIP man, a British citizen, a Tommy fan. I hate the European plan, but I'm not a racist, right? I want to go back to the good old days of British culture, British ways, when Royal Britannia ruled the ways, predominantly white. Well, at first, I didn't know what to say. And normally, I keep trouble at bay, but I was tired and I'd had a bad day, and the drink had gone to my head. So I stood there a while, thought for a bit, bought another beer, had a sip of it, and with an angry face and a mouthful of spit, I turned to the man and said, I'm sorry, but I have to disagree. That's a racist rant as far as I can see. I don't even know why you're talking to me. You say you're not a racist, but your Britain First badge, your pal tattoo, your British nationalist point of view tells me all I need to know about you. Your mind is clearly shut. You say you're not a racist and then imply that British-born Muslims should wave goodbye or refugees should be left to die. You say you're not a racist, but your message came through loud and clear. You don't want immigrants living here, so you preach the hatred and the fear of a bigoted far-right nut. I don't want to know what's in your head. You should have told someone else instead. Someone a little bit more brain dead would agree with what you say. All the people you hate are human too, with needs and feelings just like you. What would you think if I said to you, I'm happy for them to stay? You say you're not a racist and then you state that it's only Muslims that you hate because they refuse to integrate. But you need to understand that England's a multicultural place with all kinds of creed, colour and race. Everyone's got a right to cover their face, and the burqa should not be banned. And as for UKIP, let me explain, I don't care if you voted Leave or Remain. The stuff that's going on inside your brain is far from being all right. The working class never ruled the waves. In the past, we weren't much more than slaves. If you want to go back to those good old days, you really are full of shite. And with that being said, I turned away, being quite prepared to let it lay. But the nationalist looked far from okay, and he didn't want to let it rest. He called me a traitor and a left-wing dick, a Muslim lover and a communist prick. And he said I had a face he'd love to kick, and he poked me in the chest. And I thought, I'm not putting up with that. So I looked him in the eye and I said, you twat. And as he smiled like a Cheshire cat, a voice whispered in my ear, don't mess with him, he's a nutcase, son. The best thing you can do is run. Don't try and take him on, mate. You'll get done. It's time you was out of here. A group of bouncers dragged me outside saying, he's our mate. You've hurt his pride. As from the entrance the nationalist cried, I'll kill the little shit. And as he shouted, he slung a chair. He didn't notice or even care that there were other people everywhere. It was like he was having a fit. But I ran as the bouncers held me back, but the chair in the air was not still on track. It exploded behind me with a crack that haunt me in my dreams. And the ranting and the raving could still be heard, the poisonous hatred, every word. Not a trace of humanity could be inferred in those maniacal screams. But what kept me awake when I turned off the light was so many people thought he was right. I was well and truly outnumbered that night, not sharing his point of view. And that night, I nearly paid the price for not keeping still or being nice. But then again, why should I think twice? I'm a British citizen too. Thank you. Yeah.